their case. If there are any objectors, then the objectors can be heard. And we then, at the conclusion of the objector's case, we give the applicant the opportunity to sum up. We have all these proceedings are videotaped. They're taken down by the court reporter, and for that reason and that reason alone, we don't allow anyone talking over anyone else. Otherwise, we can't have everything taken down properly. All right? That's it, Patrick.
Mr. Chairman, first we have case 16823 Oceanside. Matthew Miller, renewal of grant to maintain two-family dwelling, also known as 3380 Widener Avenue.
What do we got? It's a renewal, right? No, inspected.
Oh.
Okay. Morning. How can I help you? How can we help you?
It's just to maintain my two-family at my house,
Okay.
just for a renewal permit.
Okay. For the record,
Sir, can I just, did you put your name in?
did you put your name and address on the record?
Matthew Miller, 3380 Widener Avenue, Oceanside, New York, 11572.
Okay, thank you. For the record, the building department went out and inspected the premises on November 10th, 2022, and found that all the previous conditions imposed by this board were being complied with. Do you have anything else to say, sir?
No.
Okay. Do I have any questions from the board?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Miller, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Do I have a
Thank you.
second?
Thank you
nice
very
day.
much.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Good day.
Mr.
Next,
Chairman,
please.
I apologize. I forgot to call for any adjournments. We do not have any adjournments on record for this morning.
Okay.
Is there anybody here requesting an adjournment? Okay. Next, we have case 16923 Baldwin, Eva Origo and Feliciana Hernandez, renewal of grant to maintain two-family dwelling, also known as 2478 Loft Avenue.
Okay. Oh, good. Thank you. Yep.
Morning.
Morning. Name and address for the record.
My name is James Latman. I represent the applicants from the law office of Robert Hiltzik, 380 North Broadway, Penthouse West, Jericho, New York, 11753. With me are the applicants and owners of the property, Eva Orego and Feliciana Hernandez.
Have you been sworn in, all three of you? Have you been sworn in?
No.
Could you please stand up?
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please take a seat, state your name and address for the record.
Good morning.
Do you need my clients to put their name and address on the record?
Yes.
Eva Orego, 2478 Loft, Baldwin, New York, 11510.
My name is Feliciana Hernandez. It's 2478 Lot Avenue, Baldwin.
Maybe it's 2478.
Yes, that is correct. They both live at the property address. A certificate of occupancy was number 158254 was issued on 5/31/2017 to convert a one-family into a two-family. It was issued to the prior owner, Patricia Schiltig, and part of the variance required renewal every 5 years. My clients purchased the property on November 20th, 2020, and our renewal documents were submitted September 13th, 2022, and all of the requirements of the variance have been complied with, and I believe an inspection was done and should indicate the same. So we are seeking a renewal of the variance pursuant to section 267-B2.
I see your client's name is on it. You mentioned it was originally issued in 2017 to a prior owner. When it renewed into, I guess, 2020 probably, it would have renewed. Were your clients the owners then?
No, so I believe this is the first renewal. The owners got the variance in 2017. My clients purchased in 2020.
It's not a mother-daughter. Oh, because
And
it's
so
not a
this is
mother-daughter.
our,
It's
this is our first application for a renewal.
okay, and
The deed is dated November 20th, 2020.
Go for it.
Sir, did you do all the necessary paperwork with the building department?
I believe that I did.
Did you give us a new deed?
Yes. So over the summer, I came to the building department, and they gave me a renewal application and 2 affidavits of residency, and then they instructed me to file a copy of the deed and some utility bills.
Do you have a copy of the deed with you today?
I do have a copy of the deed, yes.
Is it a copy or the original?
It is a copy.
Okay. You want to get the deed? Oh, they have the deed? Okay. All right.
Okay.
did they do this? Do they have to file that, or is that only one time? That's only one time, right? The original owner?
Yeah, yeah.
And what do they do if it doesn't? Hold on.
The grant is free. Okay. So the building department inspected the premises on October 5th, 2022. You're aware that this grant is only good as long as one of the owners, at least one of the owners, occupies the premises, correct?
Yes.
And in the event you sell the property, that the grant would have to be renewed,
Yes.
all right? The declarations and covenants embodying the terms of the grant are on record, and your client is aware of them, correct?
Yes, that's
All
right.
right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just that my clients are in compliance, and they do live in
Right.
units, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Lattman, you and your clients will each receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you all and have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have cases 170-23 through 171-23. Merrick,
Aye.
17023 through 17123, Merrick Michael Hoy, renewals of grants, maintain two-family dwelling, maintain 6-foot-high fence, also known as 1160 Parkwood Drive. Sir, please stand. Sorry. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please take a seat, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Michael Hoy. Address is 1160 Parkwood Drive, Merrick, New York, 11566.
Morning.
Morning.
How can we help you? This is a renewal
Yes,
of a grant.
for a two-family and a fence.
Okay. Property was inspected on, who resides in the home currently?
My wife and I, my two children, and we have some tenants.
Okay. What do you got? Yeah. All right. Property was inspected on December 21st, 2022 by the building department, at which time you were found to be in compliance with all of the prior conditions imposed by this board. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Do I have any questions from the board?
I move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Hoy, you'll be notified by mail the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Have a good day.
Motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Next, we have case 17223 Seaford, TR Home Development Corp. Variance lot area occupied, maintain extension to existing wood deck with trellis above attached dwelling, also known as 2584 Peconic Avenue. Sir, please stand.
I'm sorry.
Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please take your name and address for the record.
3894 Sands Lane, Seaford, New York, 11783.
Your name, sir?
Anthony Rippo.
And you are?
I was the owner. I sold it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I built a deck, and I put the AC unit on the back of the house instead of the side of the house because I thought it was, in danger of people walking back and forth. So I made it in the back, and I guess I approached lot coverage.
Okay.
And the lot coverage, you're in a Residence B zone, I take it. Where are you? Seaford, yeah. So you'd be in a, yeah, you should be Residence B zone, where you're allowed to have 27.5% lot coverage. Let me see what you're proposing here. All right, looks like you're proposing, wait a second.
36
Well, I
point.
must be wrong. You're not in a Residence B
No.
zone because you're allowed 35.
35.
So you're C zone there? Are you in a C zone there? Yeah, you're in a C zone. So you're allowed to have 35%. You're proposing 36.1% overage of a little over 1% over the allowed. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, ma'am.
And
Excuse me, the air conditioning unit is not in violation, it's the deck
Correct.
with the trellis above.
Yeah, you mentioned the AC unit, so.
Instead of putting the AC unit on the side of the house, I put it in the back of the house.
That's fine, that's, Mr. Ripper, that's not in contention, it's just the deck.
Oh, yeah. All right.
You sold it with money in escrow?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
do I have any
I
other
would-
questions from the board?
I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Sir, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's
Second.
rendered.
Thank you very much.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next case.
Next, we have case 17323 Point Lookout, Elizabeth and Robert McNulty. Variances, front yard setbacks on Beach Street and Baldwin Avenue. Rear yard, construct second-story addition attached to dwelling, also known as 3 Beach Street. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please take a seat and state your name and address for the record.
For the applicant, Thomas McKevitt, Son Ward Braff Koblenz, 333 Earlvington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York, 11553.
Morning, Mr. McKevitt.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I represent the applicants Robert and Elizabeth McNulty in this matter. It's case number 173 of 23 for variances for front yard setback on Beach and Baldwin Avenue and rear yard to construct a second-floor addition attached to the dwelling. The location of the premises is 3 Beach Street, Point Lookout, located in the northwest corner of Beach Street and Baldwin Avenue. also known as Section 61, Block 5, Lot 32 on the land tax map in Nassau County is a Residence B zone of the town of Hempstead. The premises is 80 feet wide on Beach Street, 60 feet wide on Baldwin Avenue, for a total of 4,800 square feet. The lot is currently occupied by a two-story frame single-family dwelling, and actually it's only two-story on the western side of the premises. The application is to continue the two-story on the eastern side of the premises.
Is the entire proposal inside the footprint of the existing structure?
Yes, Ms. D'Amato. As a matter of fact, we're not making any changes to lot coverage, no changes to front yard setback, no change to rear yard setback, no change in height.
Can you just put on the record the two front yards you propose and the rear yard? And what's
Yes.
allowed?
Interestingly enough, the front yard on Beach Street is 5.9 feet to what's a porched area. The addition is going to be 10.3 feet setback from the area, which is in line with the house. Interestingly enough, the average front yard setback is 5.4 feet. On Baldwin Avenue, our setback is going to be 20.8 feet, and the average front yard setback is 15.4 feet.
And the average is not relevant in some ways because this is the corner, but
Right.
you're telling us this to indicate the character of that area, I take it?
Absolutely.
Okay, and the rear yard?
Exactly. The rear yard is 13.2 feet to the chimney,
And you're supposed to have what?
25.
On the second level, right? Okay.
And just to indicate to the board is that the original dwelling in this house, I assume, was built probably in the 20s and 30s. That was demolished in 1973 by the then builder. In 1973, this board did grant variances in case 585 of 1973 for a front yard and lot area occupied, for the current dwelling. So again, we're staying within the footprint what was granted by the board in 1973. Just for your information, the lot coverage is 38.3%. Again, we're staying within that lot coverage, and the lot coverages of the adjacent houses at 98 Parkside is 54.7%, at 1 Beach Street is 36.2%, and 99 Baldwin Avenue is 42.1%.
Character.
Yes, all character. So I did give the board a number of photographs, which I took myself personally last week of the surrounding area, and if you look, the construction we're looking to do is very similar to 98 Parkside, 99, 95, 94 Baldwin, 95 Parkside, and 2 Beach Street to the north. So it's going to be very much in that character. Again, this is Bingham's Point Lookout. All the lots are substandard, so this is within the area character. The variants are not substantial. We're maintaining exactly the variances that have been there for approximately 50 years. And again, not making any changes in the neighborhood whatsoever. So that essentially is my case.
Have nothing else to add?
Nothing else, Mr.
Do
Chairman.
I have any other questions from the board?
Move that the hearing be closed and matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. McKevitt, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Any
Thank you. Have a nice day.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Very much.
Next, we have cases 17423 through 17723 Baldwin. Mary Ann Goldman. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard setback on both streets, maintain sunroom attached to dwelling. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard setback on Browning Street, maintain deck with roof over attached to dwelling. Variances, lot area occupied, side yard, maintain extension to detached garage, maintain 4-foot-high fence located within clear sight triangle and located within clear sight triangle at owner's driveway, also known as 691 Lowell Place. Marty, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please take a seat and state your name and address for the record.
Tina Pangallo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. I'm representing Mary Ann Goldman of 691 Lowell Place in Baldwin. The property is located on the northeast corner of Lowell Place and Browning Street in Residence B. We're requesting variances to maintain an extension to a detached garage, a sunroom, a deck with a roof over, and 4-foot chain link fencing. There was an open permit for a 12 by 18 one-car detached garage from 1930. When the building inspector went to the house to close out the permit, he found the garage is now 21 by 18 and would require a permit for the extension. The garage violates the side yard setback required of 2 feet. The side yard setback is 1.3 feet. The rear yard does comply with a 2.2-foot setback. It exceeds the lot coverage allowed of 27.5%. The lot coverage provided is 31.3%. Mrs. Goldman purchased the home in 1981 with the garage extension already existing. The house was built in 1925, and a non-conforming permit has been issued with conditions. One of the conditions is the sunroom, which also violates the lot coverage allowed and violates the required front yard setback on a corner of 25 feet. The front yard setback on Lowell Place is 17.4 feet, and the front yard setback on Browning Street is 19.7 feet. The sunroom was also existing when Mrs. Goldman purchased the house in 1981. The deck with the roof over also exceeds the lot coverage allowed and the front yard setback required of 25 feet. The front yard setback on Browning Street is 22.4 feet, and the deck is approximately 25 years old. The 4-foot chain link fence is in the clear sight triangle. The fence was installed in 1982, a year after they purchased the house, because people kept crossing the lawn. Mrs. Goldman originally had a buyer and was ready to close on the house when all this came up. She lost her buyer and took the house off the market. It is causing her financial hardship to maintain the house, and we're respectfully asking the board to grant this variance so she can get all her permits and COs and put her house back on the market.
Ms. Pangallo?
Yes.
Pardon me. I see that on the calendar is the clear side triangle, the traditional clear side triangle, the neighbor's clear side triangle for the fence. It looks like from the documents here that that your client's is also, or is it not? It's hard to tell from the, like, does the 4-foot fence encroach in the neighbor's clear side triangle also, or am I looking at it wrong?
On Lowell, this neighbor's?
On, well, I'm trying to reconcile the photographs. Yes, on Lowell.
Let's see. I should be able to tell from the pictures. Yeah, that neighbor's driveway is on that corner there.
Right next
Yes,
to it.
does.
So we probably need relief for that too.
Yes, it would be this clear side triangle and that, and the corner clear side
Well,
triangle.
it's already cited for the applicant's clear side triangle. Is that accurate? Because again, the photograph, trying to reconcile things here, I can't.
It's a chain link fence.
I understand, but that's what. Yeah, so I feel like it's the neighbor, the applicant, and the traditional.
Yes,
Okay, so we will just amend the caption to include, because the fence is there, everything's accurate, but the neighbor's driveway clear side triangle is also, and I don't see that on my calendar, so we can just amend the caption to include that. Right?
yes, because that would also be,
You know, if the inspector comes out and you don't have that relief, theoretically, that can make a headache for you.
right, no, I appreciate that, yes, it should be, include that clear side triangle of the neighbor's driveway.
Your clients know that if it were granted, they can't change the fence to something solid,
Yes,
et cetera, you know, and they can't put those slats, et cetera, too, because given the clear side triangle issues.
right, yes, I will make sure they're aware of that as well.
And I assume you already gave the lot occupied while I was trying to figure.
Yes, it was 27.5 is allowed and 31.3 is provided.
Okay, well, how far is the deck off of the grade?
Let's see.
Oh, but it has a roof over it, so we can.
Yeah, yes, so that's why we're doing the 27.5.
De minimis, and I have the, you had the 17.4 and the 19.7 on the front yards.
Yes.
The 25 is required.
Is that your case, Ms. Pangallo?
Yes.
Do I have any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pangallo, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Mr. Chairman, on the next case, Bertrand Batista, I received a phone call from Mr. Brown, who is counsel on this. He's currently in Supreme Court. He wasn't notified that he had a hearing today. He was requesting that we put this on second call. I know the family is here. I let them know what the situation is, so put it on second call, and hopefully Christian will be here by the end of the calendar.
Call. That's 17879. It's on second.
Yeah.
All right, call it. Then we'll put it on second.
Okay. We have case 17823 through 17923, Elmont Bertrand Batista, mother-daughter residence, second kitchen. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, construct second-story addition with wood deck, open below and roofed over porch, all attached to dwelling, also known as 1250 Russell Street.
In light of Mr. Vogel's comments, we're going to put this case on second call.
Next, we have case 18023, East Atlantic Beach, Raymond G. and Stacy Ann K. O'Brien. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, rear yard exceeds number of stories, construct third-story addition to dwelling, also known as 47 Trenton Avenue. Please stand and raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Dennis Kelly. I'm an attorney who represents the applicant. My office address is 120 West Park Avenue, Suite 311, Long Beach, New York, 11561. And along with me, I have the applicant, or one of the applicants.
Hi, my name is Stacy O'Brien. My address is 47 Trenton Avenue, East Atlantic Beach.
I also have with us the architect who's proposed the plans, the drawings that you have in front of you.
Good morning, Joseph Gallinaro. Joseph Gallinaro, 143 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, 11561.
We also are expecting someone else, so Mrs. O'Brien is going to keep her eye out for him. He should be here momentarily. He's a neighbor. First, I'd like to respectfully hand to the board 14 photographs. I made a copy of each for you of homes in the area.
We'll accept those in evidence as per instructions.
I also have 5 letters to submit to the board from abutting neighbors. I did not make copies for each of you. I just have the one set of originals.
Notwithstanding that, we'll accept those in evidence as well.
Thank you, Mr. Morgano. Those letters are from 50 Trenton Avenue, 43 Trenton Avenue, 44 Rochester, 51 Trenton Avenue, and 52 Rochester Avenue, and I'll make reference to those further as we go on. This morning we're seeking variances, area variances specifically, for the addition of a third story to the home at 47 Trenton Avenue. As a result of this proposed third story on this existing two-family house, we're seeking area variances for front yard. Presently, we have an 8.9-foot front yard setback. What's required is 13.2. We're requesting to reduce that as a result of the construction of a deck to 5 feet. We're also asking for a variance for a rear yard setback. Presently, it's at 13.1. 25 feet are required by the code, and we're requesting to reduce that down to 3, and again, that's because of a deck.
How much? I'm sorry.
3 feet, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, may I ask you, I know this house is in a flood zone. Is this house, I would have thought adding an entire level, it would have fallen into the category of becoming FEMA compliant, making the first floor, not usable, not habitable space, and then you would ask for 2 more, which would not be asking for a third story, so to speak, because the first one, but it doesn't look like you're proceeding under that construct.
We're not, Ms. D'Amato. We're proceeding with the full expectation that the construction cost will be less than 50% of the value of the present structure. And as we go further into this, we'll explain the main reason for the application, and that's what Mrs. O'Brien will testify to. momentarily.
The Department of Buildings did not say that you're going to require a new certificate of occupancy.
No.
You agree with that, Mr. Architect?
Yeah, we have no information stating that we need a new certificate of occupancy.
Yeah, it's just,
Usually it would come up, if the building department had an issue with an application, typically it would come up at the building department prior to us getting here. And, you know, our experience over the last 10 years is that there's some fluidity in the determinations of what's going on.
yeah, it's just,
So
we've seen so many of these, I apologize for your review, that this would fall squarely, at least in the past, squarely in the come into FEMA, because that would save you asking for a third-story variance. However, obviously, your client probably wants to keep using the first level, so I get that it's a mixed bag, but at any rate.
To that point, Mr. D'Amato, it's a two-family house. Right now, downstairs, we have one apartment, and upstairs, we have the second apartment. My clients reside in the second apartment upstairs. They're seeking to add the third story, as we refer to it, to enhance the living quarters of their part of the house.
It doesn't look old enough to have been a non-conforming, so I assume there was a variance granted for the two-family originally, or?
Well, I've never seen that. It looks like it's pre-existing. It's always been two-family, from what I can tell.
Non-conformings were basically built before like 1930-ish, somewhere in the early 30s. It doesn't look old enough, but, okay, go ahead and proceed.
Okay. The height presently is at 21 feet. We're seeking to go to the 30 that's allowed by code. The building area presently is 1,296 square feet. We're proposing to go to 2,036 square feet, and that's going to largely result from the proposed decks. And of course, the variance that we're asking for is the code restricts anything greater than 2.5 stories. We're asking for 3. You have the percentage. The proposed is 54.6. And largely, again, and I'll let Mr. Gallinaro, refer to that and tell you more about that, is largely because of the decks that are proposed.
And that proposed third story is entirely within the footprint, or not?
Yes.
Thank you.
You'll see by the 14 photographs that I've submitted that what's being proposed is not out of character with the neighborhood. I also will let you know that out of the 5 letters I've submitted on behalf of Mrs. O'Brien from her neighbors will indicate that they don't have an issue with it. They're all abutting or across the street. So 50 Trenton Avenue is directly across the street. You actually have a photograph of one of those houses. 43 Trenton is immediately to her south. 51 Trenton is immediately to her north. 44 Rochester is immediately behind her. 52 Rochester is around the corner, and the writer of that letter, Mr. Coletti, is here this morning, and he'll come up and speak to you after we're done. With that, I'll make a closing argument as to the elements that you typically address in area variances, but first I'll let Mrs. O'Brien, with your permission, testify as to why she is doing this.
But then they can't do any supplements or anything like that, which they'll probably do as soon as
Mr. Chairman, Mrs. O'Brien is going to testify.
So I bought the house in 2014.
Just say your name and address.
I was Stacy O'Brien, 47 Trenton Avenue, East Atlantic Beach. I bought the house in 2014. I had a little boy. He was about 1.5 years old. When he was 3, he was diagnosed with autism. So things have kind of taken a turn for us. He needs more space. He needs therapy at home. He's got very little language. So before the pandemic, we were trying to have at-home therapy. He was younger. It was getting a little tight. Now I can't resume it because he has no designated space to be in. So the 3 bedrooms and the living room and the kitchen are all in one area. So basically, I'm like a distraction. So if he's in the living room, I'm in the dining room or the kitchen. I was hoping that, like, because the pandemic hit, he was in special ed in public school, and he regressed totally once we went remote. So he's become more behavioral, and I'm kind of hoping to resume his at-home therapy and hope to get him to be more socialized so that he could go back to school. Right now, he's in a therapy program for the day, and he's getting very big. He's 9, but he looks like he's 14, so he's a big boy, and I really think he needs more space than we have in this house with us all cramped on top of each other.
Looking at the floor plans, so I see on the second level, you currently have various, I think this is the proposed, so where the playroom is denoted on the second floor, I assume that's what's currently a bedroom, that's why you need bedrooms.
The other part of it is our neighbors are a good support group for Jake. They've known him since he's born, so they know what's like typical behavior for him. God forbid, like he got out of the yard and he was alone. It's means a lot that people are there for him, you know.
How many bedrooms are in the first level apartment? 2?
2.
And because I see on here bedroom number 6, but I presume that's because 2 are, so there will be 4 bedrooms proposed to the relationship on the master bedroom, and 2 are marked bedrooms. Oh no, yeah, 2 are marked bedrooms, 1 just appears to be a bedroom, right? Is there 4 bedrooms proposed up there?
Yes.
How many?
That is also looking ahead, that Jake cannot be like unsupervised even as he gets older. So there may be times I may have to have somebody stay over to watch him. So having the extra space is, I only have him as of now.
I just want to look at the photos. For example, the first photo in the packet is 47 Trenton, which is your place. Mr. Pellegrini, where's the photo? Give me a second. So 40 Trenton, you know, at first blush looks sort of like what you propose. But that I presume is the first level FEMA, and then 2.
I'm sorry, Mr. D'Amato, which photograph?
40 Trenton is what it's, just, you know, it is a little bit different scenario. That's exactly what I mentioned earlier about how.
Yes, so yes, so I took these photographs knowing well that question may very well come up. And I took them to just indicate that there are homes, obviously, on the block of that height.
Look the same.
Exactly. Now, I will also tell you, and I won't tell you which ones, some of them have living quarters in their built-in foundations. But having said that, yes, several of them, to me, clearly look like they have been made FEMA compliant, and that was the addition for the 3rd story.
And just for the record, if you were to bring this into FEMA compliance, you would actually be entitled to build it to a height of 30 after elevation 15, which would net about 7, it would probably be 8 to 10 feet higher in terms of height without a height variance if you were to comply with FEMA, because your freeboard's at 15 elevation, the crown's at 8 and change. So you'd be able to go to elevation 45, which would be, you know, higher than it's proposed now. So on that side of the equation, it's probably
Right. And the other thing, Mr. D'Amato, I will tell you that I was able to find a case, and it's the last photograph, I think, in your packet of 21 Mohawk Avenue. which I took the photograph, and I also am signing it for the proposition that a variance was granted for them to add an additional third story back in 2020. The case number was 170-172-2020.
My voice didn't carry. Did the, whatever you reviewed, whether it was the card or whatever, did it indicate that it was granted as a third story? Or
The
as a 2.5?
application was for a third story. I have the application and the plans.
But you don't have the, because that looks to me,
I don't
I just have one view of it, but that looks like it might have been considered a 2.5 story since those main eaves are structured in that way. But there might be a different view of it that is not what I'm seeing in the photo. It's only one side.
Okay. I don't disagree with your interpretation of the photograph.
Thank you.
Having said that, I will now give you, unless you have more questions concerning the photographs, we can go through the photographs some more. A couple of them you see will be of the rear of houses, just to reflect the decks in the rear of houses do exist in the neighborhood. And otherwise, they're just generally for the sake of height to indicate how big and illustrious some of these homes are in the immediate neighborhood. And some of the older homes are rather large as well. If you look at 29 Brookline Avenue, 25 Brookline Avenue, they're large homes that are not, they don't seem to indicate, given their construction, to be FEMA compliant homes. Having said that, I will give you Mr. Gallinaro just to go through some of the details of the proposed house.
Okay, good morning. I'm Joseph Gallinaro, the architect. When the O'Briens had first reached out to me and mentioned that they wanted to extend their home for the reasons that we had discussed, we understood that it was going to be a challenging process. The design itself needed to be as simple as possible to make it as affordable as possible. So the concept of demolishing the existing house and building new houses faded away quite quickly. We started working with the O'Briens back in 2014, 2015, believe it or not. And a lot has happened like I had mentioned earlier, a lot has happened along the way. The addition, or rather the dormer that we're presenting, is in fact just utilizing the existing footprint so that we could capitalize on the existing foundations of the home. So we're not building outward of the home for the massing. In fact, on the third floor, we're bringing it in about 2.5 feet from lining up with the front wall of the house. And what that does is it allows us for a pitched roof of 3-on-12, so it's not a flat roof, and that'll keep us in a conventional asphalt shingle range and not a flat roof range, which also drastically reduces the value of the cost of the project, financial cost of the project. And as Mr. Kelly had mentioned, the vast majority of the 800 square foot overage that we have from the existing lot coverage to what we're presenting today, has to do with the decks. And the main purpose of the decks is for Jake to have some outdoor space to be kept in place and not for him to then wander through the neighborhood. So the deck is really a vital part of how Jake functions on a day-to-day basis. It's his safe outdoor space. If you look on the second floor, which would be the O'Brien's first level, their first door actually there is a vestibule situation, which doubles the amount of security for Jake to come in and out, which would be his familiar way to come in and out of the home. And that will stop or help prevent, if someone by accident forgets to lock a single door, they would have to forget the vestibule door on the inside, the front wall door, and then there's also, typically there will be a gate at the top of the stairs on the deck. So there's 3 sort of checkpoints for Jake prior to him being able to get out. And then similarly in the back, off the back deck, which again is sort of bringing the rear yard up to the level of where they live today, there would be a gate at the top of the stairs there as well.
On that rear yard, but for the stairs and the deck proposed, you're not further encroaching than the house currently encroaches. You're maintaining the 13.1, but for the deck, which is coming down to 3, and the stairs, which also it finally ends with a 3.
That's correct. And actuality, we're not building out the exact footprint of the second floor and the third floor. The third floor is set in from the second floor. So if you look at that playroom, on the second floor, it's bumped out. The third floor is in a straight alignment that's set on top of the wall that's above the kitchen.
Okay, but the existing footprint of the structure itself maintains 13.1 in the rear yard.
Correct.
And you're not even going out that far on this proposed third level if it's approved. And then, except for the only thing that will further encroach is that deck and the stairs.
That's correct.
In the rear.
That's correct.
Okay.
And so one of the other things that Ms. O'Brien, I think, was about to mention was that her mother also lives with the family on a full-time basis. So to help, with the family dynamic, and then also, as Ms. O'Brien had mentioned, that there's probably going to be another person living there at some point, which then increases the number of the bedrooms that are required up on that proposed third floor.
And on the front yard, I just want to go through what's actually the change. So in the front yard, you have an existing 8.89.
Correct.
Right? And you're proposing 5. Is that solely decking also?
Yes, it is.
So no portion of the actual dwelling structure
Correct.
will be encroaching any further in the front yard setback as it, no further than it does now,
That's correct.
except for this proposed decking, and that's open below.
That's correct. Open below, yes, 100%.
And side yards you're keeping as they are.
That's correct.
And so lot coverage, what's your?
The lot's existing non-conforming at 3,500 square feet, where we're in a 6,000 square foot zone.
Right, so wait, let's just go through this. So you're allowed 35% on a Res C. You exist at 37, and you're going to 54. Now that sort of, when you first look at that, it seems, how can that be if you're a building within the footprint? So again, we're back to the decking.
Yes. So
Is all of the lot coverage increase solely decking?
it is.
Right, okay.
It is.
Mr. Coletti, we'll have him sign in as well. Oh, he did? Oh, great. Mr. Coletti.
Why don't you stay and kick the architect out or something? He's your witness, so you know. Sorry, but ladies first, and he's.
Hello, my name is John Coletti. I'm the president of East Atlantic Beach. My address is 52 Rochester, East Atlantic Beach.
Speak as loudly as you can, please.
Okay.
What's your address again?
52 Rochester. I'm the owner.
Okay, you're on the corner of Rochester and Beach.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What say you?
I didn't realize I was going to speak. I wasn't prepared, but that's fine. The whole neighborhood has changed. This is happening all over. I know Stacy, she's part of the board. She's an integral part of the board. She's an asset to the neighborhood. She wouldn't do anything to hurt the neighborhood. This, I think, is going to be an enhancement in terms of the way East Atlantic Beach is. I think, well, everybody's familiar with it.
Well, and partly by necessity because of the FEMA requirements, so things went up
Yes,
higher.
and some of the things going up are actually it's not great that it's so big, but building on a footprint and just adding a floor is actually probably better for the neighborhood visually. So, I mean, we're all in favor for it. We haven't heard anybody that's against it, and a lot of people are doing it as we speak. There's a lot of houses going up this way. So we're all for it. It's only an enhancement to the neighborhood.
Thank you for your input.
With that, Mr. Chairman, I just want to close by saying I think if you weighed the 5 factors that we're required to waive relative to the benefit to the applicant versus the health, welfare, and safety of the neighborhood, that I would respectfully request that you grant this.
Thank you very much.
Special situation.
Yes, the hardship in particular. Yes, Mr. Absolutely. That's the reason why we're here.
Do I have any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Everyone who signed in on the case will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you, everyone, for coming, participating. Have a safe home.
All in favor? Second?
Aye.
In favor? Aye.
Next, we have case 18123 Franklin Square, Judy and Landry Shenrefred. Variance side yard, maintain cellar entrance attached to dwelling, also known as 829 Dowdy Avenue. Ms. Bengal, let the record reflect I have you sworn in from earlier.
Thank you.
Ms. Couture.
I'm representing Carol Wood, who is the previous owner of the property of 829 Dougherty Avenue in Franklin Square. The new owners are Judy and Laundry Serafont, and the property is located on the south side of Dougherty Avenue, 92 feet south of Hewlett Street in Residence B. We're requesting a variance to maintain an outside entrance that violates the side yard setback required of 5 feet. The side yard setback is 2 feet 1 3/4 inches in the front and 3 feet 4 1/4 inches towards the rear. A permit 14-16687 was originally issued in error for this application and was revoked.
Do you know how it was inadvertently or incorrectly issued?
I guess the plan examiner didn't realize that it was less than 5 feet, and then when the building inspector went to the house and saw that it was less than 5 feet, he notified the plan examiner that it shouldn't have been approved.
Had the case come before us for any of the other proposals at that time?
No,
It was all an as-of-right case with the mistake?
correct. So in 2005, they filed for a permit to construct a second-story addition and a handicap bathroom. And when the building inspector did his final inspection, he went through the house, saw a finished basement with a bathroom, and told the owners that they needed a permit for the basement finish, and they also needed to install an egress window or an outside entrance because they were using it as recreational space. So they hired an architect, they got the permit, they had an inspection, and they were not aware that the permit was revoked until they were closing on the house. $17,500 is being held in escrow, and Mr. Wood had mitral valve surgery, 7 strokes, and they could really use this money to cover his medical expenses, and we're respectfully asking the board to grant it.
Ms. Pangallo, when you put together this application, I have in front of me partial plans, that's the cellar floor plan.
Yes.
Were you required to give us plans of the whole house or just that?
No, just that. This is what was originally filed in 2014 rather.
So they were granted, the permit was closed as it relates to the finished basement and the bathroom down there. So that's already been approved?
No, it's all part of this, so I'm not sure why he just has that as a title, exterior stairs to cellar, because the basement is part of this
So we're being
permit.
asked to approve, yeah, I'm a little confused too. So it's your understanding that we're being asked to opine as to whether or not they should be allowed to have this bathroom in the basement and maintain it as a finished basement?
Yeah, that's all part of this application, other than the fact that the outside entrance requires the variance, but the permit was for a finished basement with a bathroom and outside entrance that was revoked.
Simply because the building department did the interior finish. It's on the same paperwork, but it's not part of this application.
I was under the impression that it was part of this application. Let me see if I have the original permit that was revoked.
Yeah, I just want to see if they have a separate. So what's down there? Where's even the proposal to?
I thought I had.
I don't even see on the search sheet the application to maintain a finished basement with a bathroom. Oh, she said 04 maybe.
That's why I thought it was included in this application, because
Paperwork-wise, it may be included. You're probably correct, because
I don't see anything.
why would they issue a permit without a basement finish having a permit? But I don't have the, I wish I had a copy of the permit that was revoked.
Where's the,
Here's the 05. Did you say that was originally in 05, or was that that other one that was in 05?
No, the construction was in '05. It was 14-16687.
14?
Well, the two we have in 05,
Oh, I have a copy of the letter to them saying that the permit was revoked, and it says construct alterations and cellar entry.
okay,
So I'm assuming the alterations is the basement finish?
so here's the, I just want to read you a few things off the search sheet. So there are closed permits from 05. One is for construct second floor addition with bathroom. Another one is to install 2 fixtures first floor and 4 fixtures second floor. Those are already closed. As to 2014, there's an open permit for maintain egress window with full-size doors and stairs. And then that's the one that subsequently was suspended in 2015, it looks like. And then there are some closed permits. Let's see, those are old, 87, 82, 56. There's one more sheet. Let me check it. And there's a 2006 closed permit for installed gas fireplace log for one-family dwelling. That's all I have. Now, the search sheet is, from August of last year, but
I think they mistitled it because the thing revoking the permit says construct alterations and outside entrance.
hold on, 21657. See, that permit referenced in the letter is the one that I read to you that's open, and the only thing it says here is maintain egress window with full-size doors and stairs. And then subsequently,
Right. So I think that whoever did that search sheet didn't include the alterations that is on the permit that was revoked. See where it says construct alterations and outside entrance?
the letter?
Right,
The letter says, oh, in the heading, you mean?
right.
Because
So I thought that was the permit title.
at all. The letter simply refers to the entrance, as far as I can. I don't even know what's before us then.
I thought it was just the cellar entrance side yard, but I was under the
That's
impression,
what's before us, as far
Right.
as I can tell. But it's unclear if we're supposed to pass on or decide upon whether or not this finished cellar with a bathroom, that complicates the entrance issue.
Sure.
For obvious reasons,
yeah, I looked at that letter, saw construct alterations and outside entrance, and I didn't think they would approve a permit for an outside entrance without a permit for the finish, so I thought it was all included. But I see what you're saying, that search sheet is not clear.
Okay. Have you been to the house?
Yes,
Have you been in the basement?
yes.
And what's there?
There's a bathroom and there's a recreation room. They have a TV down there and couch and that type of thing.
And then they have a first level with the obvious stuff on it, I presume, the kitchen and all that, and the
Right.
bath. And then
Yes.
how many bedrooms upstairs?
That I don't remember.
And you say the house was sold?
Yes,
Because our issues are always the same. It's one thing when your client is using it the proper way, but we're not always assured that the next person would, this could easily, as I know you know, it easily could be converted into an apartment there with a cellar entrance, already, if it's legalized, the bath, et cetera. And, that's always our risk because we don't have the current owner before us either, not that it's required, but
Right,
that's-
sure.
That's something we have to.
right.
Yes, the chairman raises a good question. So those egress windows referenced in was that the 24, no,
Yeah.
2005, was it? Where's the, oh, it is the same, this is interesting. So the same permit is on the search sheet as maintain egress windows. Are those egress windows in place?
No, that's why I don't understand the title of that on my search sheet. Because
Were the egress windows, let me look at this. Are they in a location different from the proposed cellar entrance, or?
no, there are no egress windows.
But was the,
I don't even see egress windows on this plan.
2014 permit explicitly states, maintain egress window with full-size doors, and it looks like stairs, suspended, as per inspector.
right, and then she gets this letter, which says construct alterations.
What
So
kind of
we're not sure, the finished basement, Ms. Pangallo thought it was included in this proposal for us to pass on.
That's,
And part of her confusion was this construct alterations in cellar entries. So the town sent that with that reference to that same number. So there's a bit of confusion. So let me just see.
Can I check to see upstairs what the original permit was actually titled?
Yeah, and just what it was titled, and I guess those are the plans that you gave us. That's what was submitted with that.
Correct.
Yeah, maybe we could, so let me just see. So the egress windows that this attempts to reference anyway, they're not on this plan here.
Now, I'm sorry.
Was submitted with it. So now we don't know if the building department said, nope, you can't have stairs. Here's your egress window permit to put egress windows in there. I mean, you know.
where do you need both?
And maybe that's why they put stairs instead, and maybe that's why they got suspended. I mean, we don't, it's all speculation, because I don't even see on the plan here proposed, although there are two, do you have this plan in front of you also?
Yeah, I see it's marked supplementary, so possibly they were going to put egress windows and an outside entrance, and they filed a supplement for just an outside entrance?
Mine doesn't, I don't see, oh, yes, you're right, down here. I don't know, or maybe that was part of the issue, but there appear to be some other, I'm guessing those are, see those three, what I would guess are some kind of window on this side? One by the stairs and two on the other side. Actually, four, or are those just windows up above on a different level? See what I'm referencing?
On this plan?
Yeah, on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
On this, mine is this one.
Okay, yours is just, I guess, a little bigger. Yeah, I don't see it. She says something different. Oh, I think those are regular windows, otherwise I'm assuming they would show a well if it was an egress window, right? No. Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll clarify that the basement is actually part of this application. And the egress windows and,
What really is supposed to be.
A little more.
Application for us, maybe, if you can.
Mhm.
And speak to Lou and get some, you gotta figure out what it is.
Okay.
We need a little more specificity.
Yes, I understand.
So,
Sorry about that.
all right, so we'll adjourn it for now, but
Okay,
you'll come back.
come back, okay. I got the next one.
Don't take it away.
Yeah, just come back. Long, it might be.
You're right, I understand. I have the next case, and then I'll run upstairs.
All right. So we can't. Do it now.
And you know what we could do? What do you, well, I was gonna say, we could let, now that we've seen them, we could let the baby and one of the grown-ups not come back. What do you think?
Do you want to take partial testimony?
And you could tell them that part privately. Or you could have them put their names on the record. Want to have them put their names on the record, they're here, and then we can let the mom and the baby and one of the kids.
If they're going to come back, let them do it this.
Well, we'll just
Do it.
Step aside for 1 second.
Okay, sure.
Okay. We're going to call case 17823 through 17923 Elmont. Bertrand Batista, mother-daughter residence, second kitchen, variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, construct second-story addition with wood deck, open below and roofed over porch, all attached dwelling. If you guys could just come forward.
And I will find.
Is there somebody else that's here with the
My partner, but he's with the baby.
do you want to have him call?
If, not if it's too hard on the child, but if we can get all the names on the record, it'd be better before, and then we'll set it over for 2 o'clock. See, that way, I think if we get their names on the record, we can let, the baby doesn't have to come back, and one of the grown-ups.
Fine.
So we can get started. Let's start putting names on the record.
Okay, they're the owners.
Okay. Name and address. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Bertrand Batista.
Have they been sworn? Oh, okay. Could you stand, please? Raise your right hand.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Bertrand Batista at 1250 Russell Street, Elmont, New York, 11003.
Madam? Ma'am?
Name and address for the record, and speak as loudly as you can.
My name is Pirfa Batista. I'm living in 1250 Russell Street.
Okay, and then we'd like to get the other folks' names on the record at least before we let you guys leave
For lunch.
for lunch.
I see them walking in. They're walking in now.
We'll make it quick.
Yeah. For the baby. Okay.
Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Name and address for the record. Into the microphone.
Selena Batista, 1250 Russell Street, Elmont, New York, 11003.
Sebastian Pimentel, 1250 Russell Street, Elmont, New York, 11003.
And are you, all 4 of you going to be living in the house? You're the only people going to be living in the house with the baby? Yeah. Well, the baby can't testify, so.
And what's the baby's name real quick?
Okay. All right, so now that you've been sworn in and you've testified that you're going to be the only people living in the house, we're going to put this case on for the 2 o'clock calendar, but all of you don't have to come back. If one of you would like to stay with the child, that would be fine, okay? But we're going to put it on for 2 o'clock. We're going to put it on earlier. All right, so we're going to call your case first on the 2 o'clock calendar, so you won't be sitting here for another 4 or 5 hours. All right, so be back here at 2 o'clock, and then we'll hear your case first, all right? Thank you. You're welcome.
Have a nice day,
Ms. Pangallo.
Okay.
Next case.
Next, we have case 18223, Seaford, John Filigrossi. Maintain pool with deck and equipment not permitted in front yard. Maintain 6-foot-high pool enclosure larger than pool installation area and forward of dwelling which may obstruct line of sight, also known as 753 Pine Neck Road.
I'm representing John Filigrossi of 753 Pine Neck Road in Seaford, on the east side of Pine Neck Road, 549.35 feet north of Berrywood Road in the LPRD district. We're requesting a variance to maintain a pool with deck and pool equipment not permitted in the front yard and a 6-foot pool enclosure larger than the pool installation area and forward of the dwelling. The property is a pie-shaped property where the fencing on Pine Neck Road will not affect the line of sight of any of the neighbors' driveways. The neighbor on Pine Neck Road has a front yard on Flowerdale Road. I have an overview of the property so you can see how it's located and where the front yard and the fencing is.
Sorry, Ms. Pangallo, is the fencing in the front yard, I'm just trying to find it. I see a small section on what is, I guess, the south, on the south side of the house running to the property line from the house, running down the south property line, and on the east property line, I think, I can't make it all out, then cutting back to Pine Neck Road, right?
Right.
And then from there, it runs down Pine Neck Road, I see, to the back of the house. I mean,
Right.
down it till it gets, and then it runs back to the house.
Right, so that house on Pine Neck is the rear of the neighbor's house.
Yeah, where's the neighbor to the north's driveway? Is there a little section of vacant space?
That
45.
lot 45.
Who owns that, your client or?
Client, yes,
Okay, and so the neighbor must enter on Flowerdale, the neighbor to the north.
that's correct.
And, let's see, and I can see how it wouldn't block the neighbor to the south because of the angle, right?
Correct.
The Murphy house can't be, it's impossible that block that neighbor's driveway.
And Mr. Filigrossi was also here before the board on November 14th, 2012, case number 1069, and the variance was granted with conditions of the fence remaining in good condition and complying with the building zoning ordinances. But what happened was when it went back to the building department, they wanted construction details of the deck that was on the approved plot plan, and the homeowner wasn't aware that he needed to submit deck plans, and it just kind of got lost in the homeowner didn't realize that it was an objection. So he didn't know that there was a problem until he got a notice of violation from a code enforcer saying he had an application for pool that has not been closed out. So that's why we're reapplying for the variance again.
The potential violation notice he got solely was, you haven't closed out the thing. It wasn't a complaint or anything else.
No, it was just an open application for a pool.
And that deck to which you refer is that small deck that's just as wide as the narrow way on the pool, like on the south side of the pool? That's the only decking we're talking about, right?
Yes, that's correct. And that's what they wanted plans for when this was approved in 2012, and the homeowner said he wasn't aware that he needed to submit plans. He thought the variance was approved, and that was it.
Wait, why weren't the plans part of the application for the variance?
He filed it himself, so he just drew in a little square for a deck, and then they sent it down to the board.
Department to get it kicked out.
Right.
Is that your case?
Yes.
Do I have any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pangallo, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Do I have a
Okay, thank you, and I'll
Have a
go
nice day.
upstairs and
All
see
in
how quick.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Next, we have cases 18323 through 18723, North Belmore. Joseph LaMonica, install pool not permitted in side yard, variance side yard, maintain cellar entrance attached to dwelling, special exception to maintain shed exceeding horizontal maximum and with less than required side and rear yard setbacks. Maintain 6-foot-high pool enclosure forward of the dwelling, which may substantially obstruct line of sight. Variance side yard, maintain AC unit attached to dwelling, also known as 2260 Henry Street. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Take a seat, state your name and address into the microphone.
Chris Gray, architect, 2401 Capri Place, representing Joseph LaMonica, located at, let's see, he's at 2260 Henry Street, North Belmore, New York. Good morning. I'd like to hand in a letter that a neighbor received, and the neighbor had returned it to me with just comments on it. So I have to hand that in. Okay. All right. Our case involves the installation of an in-ground pool on this piece of property. If you notice, looking at the survey, this is an irregular shaped piece of property that it is at its widest, or at its deepest, it's 76.91 feet deep and tapers off on the west to 45.45 feet. The proposed pool is located within his side yard. There is no room to put a pool in what is his backyard. And the next item is the variance seeking for the maintaining the basement entry. The entry is located on the east side of the property. Within that, the side yard setback is to the dwelling is 4.94 feet, where a 5-foot is required. Reason why he chose that area was the west side of the property is the basement is bounded by a crawl space. At the rear of the dwelling, there is stairs into the first floor as well as a chimney. So he chose to put the stair on the east side of the property.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
What did you say the side yard that maintained by the cellar entrance?
Well, I'm just saying the dwelling itself is
4.94.
4.94 feet, the dwelling. So it's tight as it is, but the actual exterior stair is 6 inches from the property line.
Right, okay. I misheard you.
And also, the reason why he chose the stair to face forward is there's an air conditioning unit located in the rear corner.
You indicated that the 4.9 feet in that side yard is close enough, but that's...
No, it's to the dwelling.
Yes.
I'm saying it's tight as it is.
But tight is complying with the building zone ordinance.
Yes, it's a legal structure.
Okay.
No, I mean, it probably has...
The dwelling.
The dwelling doesn't even maintain the appropriate side yard.
That's what I'm kind of bringing up. Yes, it's...
What's the appropriate side yard?
5 foot.
And it's 4.94.
Right, so I'm saying that the existing dwelling as it is not compliant. It's a little close.
Does that lump into, with your experience as a builder's error, margin of error?
Yes, that's called a construction tolerance.
Okay, and how much is 4.9 feet? How many inches is that short of 5 feet?
It's probably less than 1 inch.
Okay, so in all consideration, that side yard of 4.9 feet is in compliance, regardless of how you characterize it as a small area or...
Right, it's a tight space as it is.
Okay.
And then this stair was placed within that required side yard.
And how did this, do you want me to pull you off script, or I want to know how the stairs got there and who put them there?
Well, the owner will speak in a moment. I would like to run through all these items, and then
go right ahead.
They'll have a chance to speak.
Sure.
Then the next item is the shed that is larger than, the length is larger than allowable. 12 feet is the maximum length of a shed. This particular shed is 12.24 feet, so it's 3 inches longer than allowable. And the side and rear yard setback are to be 2 feet whereas he has 1.76 at the rear and 1.54 on the side. I believe when he installed it, he measured off a neighbor's fence. He was knowledgeable to place it off 2 feet, but he didn't place it off the property line. If the shed could be easily moved to be in compliance. Next item is the 6-foot-high fence that he installed. So the survey shows the fence. Mainly that was constructed in anticipation of having a pool, and the application for the fence itself was modified to chamfer the corners where it abuts his driveway as well as the neighbor's driveway.
Okay, so staying on the fence, I just want to, it's sort of difficult, you know, it's not like a dash dot, it's sort of like dashes. So am I correct that it runs along all of Henry Street on that side of the property, or is there a place where it doesn't?
Well, he has it pretty much the half of the western side of the property is where the fence is located at the front yard.
The fence is currently there, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. These angled corners, these cutouts, are those there already? Or
No, they're not there. So that's something that to be modified so that it can have some compliance.
Okay, so where does it currently stop as it runs along Henry to eastbound?
It stops at his driveway.
Okay, so right now it stops there and cuts back, but it's proposed to angle, which I can see. There, the regular clear sight triangle and angle is proposed, right?
Yes.
And when you say 8 feet, do you mean the hypotenuse is 8 feet, or?
No, each leg.
So take 8 feet off of it and then cut it back to the house?
X and Y axis.
Or back to the driveway, okay. And then on the, so I can see where it runs on the, what would be considered the rear of the property, and then it runs all the way up to Henry Street, or where does it stop when it runs north on the eastern property line?
Well, it's at the face of the dwelling. The fence is at the face of the dwelling, running west, and then the fence itself runs north to Henry Street.
Okay, can I just start at the back corner of the western, the eastern, I'm sorry, property line?
Okay, yes.
From the back corner, back by the shed?
Yes.
How far forward where does it stop running forward? I can't tell.
Oh, I see. It runs on the east side of the property. It runs forward to the front building line as well.
So where those stairs are,
Correct, yes.
it stops there, okay, because it looks like the dot dash.
Yeah, graphically, the fence is shown,
To go forward a bit.
it's like on the property line, so it's not as clear.
So it's proposed now to stop.
Well, the fence is
where that's-
existing. The fence is existing.
Oh, okay. And it stops at those stairs.
Yes, which is the front building line, yes.
And is that the bottom of the stairs, or that's the top?
That's the top. The top of the stair faces the
Stops
street.
there and, all right.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Could you please approach?
Sure.
So the proposal is to.
Shortest over here.
Proposal is to angle here.
That's a gate, that's a gate. That's it. No, there's nothing there. No, there's no proposal.
No, but, okay.
But you propose to project that out towards the property line?
Well,
No.
the fence is already there.
The answer is no. No.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, does, Okay, you can go.
That is our case. Oh, no, I'm sorry, one thing I left out, I'm sorry. There's the variance to maintain the AC unit. That's within the required side yard. 5 feet is required, and the side yard for the AC unit is 2.25 feet.
Is the basement finished?
Yes, it is.
Is there a permit for that basement?
That application has been filed for that as well. That's with the exterior stair and basement is one application.
Wait, see, here we go again.
They,
So it's,
yeah, go ahead. You're on it.
so it's your understanding that by asking us for the stairs, we're also addressing the issue of the finished basement?
Yeah, that's
Second one like
it's the
this
same.
today.
It's the same application.
It's, Mr. Gray, I would respectfully submit and say that the basement, although you may have put on a piece of paper, maintain a finished basement and maintain the exterior stairs, that they are separate and distinct from each other. The basement, finished basement, has nothing to do with the exterior stairs.
Normally, in filing application, you do it as one. Usually, you disclose everything. That's
Okay, so we're not saying you didn't do that. Ms. Pangallo just went up to check on hers because we had the same issue arise. Because when we're evaluating the cellar entrance encroaching in the side yard, that's what we're looking at. We're not looking about what's in there now, it's being used. So maybe when Ms. Pangallo comes back, we'll have some enlightenment, because she's coming back down presumably in the next half an hour or something. But just if I might ask, so what is in the basement?
I have the plan. The plans have been filed. There's pretty much half of it is a finished storage area with a 3-piece bathroom, and then the back side there's a utility, this finished area, utility and storage. So usually, normal protocol. I mean, you can't file just showing an exterior stair. What's going on in the basement? So that's normal procedure to show it all.
Well, it may be relevant, I agree with you. It's relevant to the staircase. But the question is, like, are we being asked to pass upon what should or should not be in the basement? We always view it as passing on whether or not that staircase in that side yard makes sense. And you're right, we do want to know what's in the basement when we address that issue. But at least I have never been aware that I'm deciding whether or not there should be a bathroom, for example, down there, or telling you can't be habitable space unless it comes to us for that, which traditionally,
It does not.
in my 18 years, I'm not aware of it having come for that. But Ms. Pangallo said the same thing, so obviously maybe there's a communication disconnect between our group and the building department, or what have you, you know.
I've done this many times when involving an exterior stair. It's normal protocol to, well, first of all, the basement being finished requires a permit. So that's something to be filed. So it's a standard procedure.
Right, but that's saying requires a permit. So things that require a permit don't always require our opine on it, our decisions. So when we get a staircase alone, yes, I am always interested in what is in the basement because it may be relevant to our analysis as to how much that staircase is needed or warranted, et cetera. But I've never been under the understanding that I'm passing upon, as part of this group, that we are passing upon or analyzing whether or not the applicant should have a bathroom down there. We like to know what's down there, because usually, it's from what I have seen, that's often the building department addresses that issue. They allow a bathroom down there. That application goes in, they allow a bathroom with the caveat it shall not be habitable space. They look to whether or not there need to be egress windows. All of those sorts of things that are not in our purview. We're talking about a side yard, so it's never been. But I think this is something we got to get clarified because you're the second person today, and both you and Ms. Pangallo are here all the time, so I know you guys know what you're doing. So maybe it's a disconnect communication-wise with us and the building department to figure out who's actually passing upon whether or not, I mean, I would have thought the bathroom down there might be an as-of-right permit, like,
Oh, it is. The basement is not, an issue, it's something that would pass the building department, but it's just normal procedure. You see an exterior stair, what's going on down there? So and it's your choice to, you look at it as you wish.
of course, but now what you're saying, what I'm hearing is that you don't expect us to pass, that if we denied the stairs, for example,
Right.
you can still have the building department address and potentially give you a permit to have the bathroom down
Yes.
there. Okay, so that's how I see it, not, we have the same issue, Ms. Pangel. So not whether or not we are actually determining whether or not this applicant should be allowed to have a bathroom. That's the building department's purview, right?
Yes.
Granted, okay.
I understand.
And it's given you it's allowed to be put on one application, and it gives you the opportunity just to see what's going on.
If your client filed for interior finish of a basement
Yes.
without exterior stairs,
You wouldn't be before the board, this.
First thought, and then he said it differently, but now he's saying exactly how our view is. of it.
yes.
All right, so, all right.
Why didn't you do that? It would have been easier.
There's a bathroom down there. and
Explain? Explain?
Why didn't he just file, instead of he's
Because it
asking.
exists.
Yeah, but did you put the bathroom in, and all that stuff?
No, but the cellar entrance is there, so
Yeah.
that's why.
I wonder what Ms. Pangallo.
But again, Ms. Pangallo, this is the same thing we're going through here. He first seemed to indicate, at least, that it was his understanding that we were passing upon what's in the basement. But as we went through it, it seems as though, and it would be the same in your scenario, I think the building department is passing, like, again, if we took off the stairs, do you need to come to us for what's in the basement? I don't think so. It's an as-of-right permit, or whatever it is, it's in the purview of the building department. So what you're here before us for and what he's here is simply whether or not that staircase is allowable, whether we deem it allowable. And not whether or not you can have a bathroom down there. But granted, we always want to know what's down there because it often bears on our analysis. So, okay, that's clarified now, I think. So we're just here about the staircase.
Correct.
And you have a few other things we'll get.
And also, being that it's, the standard procedure to combine these two pieces and for a permit, it also, like I said, gives you the opportunity to see what's going on.
Yeah, we're not
Full disclosure.
arguing about how
Yeah.
to write the application. It's more, you can imagine, our concern is what elements of your application we need to look at, analyze, make a decision about. And that's why that's an issue. That's why it's something that matters to us.
I think what we will do in the future, if we have not done it in the past, is clarify in our decision regarding this kind of an application that we make no decision as to what is in the basement, and we are limiting our decision solely to the existence of the cellar entrance.
That's understood and expected. That's it.
Okay, one, if I might. So we have a few letters in opposition. There's one in favor, or at least with no objection. Two of them are not very helpful in that they simply say opposed to all. So that doesn't give us any insight as to what the issues that might be bothering those individuals. But one of them, I'll just read to you. I have no objection to the installation of the pool. However, specific to case 186 regarding the 6-foot fence, the current white fence obstructs the line of sight and does not align or blend in with the aesthetics of the residential area / block. I would request the owner add shrubbery along the fence line to break up the white wall along Henry Street property line, which is quite long. Obviously, if this person believes the fence already obstructs the line of sight, I don't see adding additional shrubbery as helping that issue. The aesthetic issue that they want shrubbery, again, I'm not sure how that would work because if it obstructs the line of sight, it obstructs the line of sight. We don't want to put more of an obstruction there. So I don't know, but if you'd like to speak to the line of sight issue, feel free. I mean, I give it to you so you can respond to that.
Well, like you said, I think that adding, if the board would like some shrubbery, that's fine. But like you said, it would add to more of an obstruction. Also, when I saw the fence, I noted immediately that it had to be chamfered on the driveway sides. That's a must.
Now, in looking at this, again, I have two different lines that could be fence lines, and I'm realizing, is the fence...
A survey?
I'm looking at your plot plan.
Plot
but
plan.
Let me ask you, does the fence go all the way to the property line, or is it set back slightly on the applicant's property?
May I approach to be easy to maybe to point? And is
Sure.
that okay? May I?
Yeah, I guess. Go ahead.
It's easy enough for me to.
Got it. Is this the fence line here instead?
Okay, look at that back. Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
so is this your client's property line?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, so there might be shrub space.
There's a little bit, yes.
Well, this,
It might be-
Can you make it so we can see where the fence is?
The trunk.
No, the fence. And can we see the neighborhood? Oh, I see how the no neighbors have a fence out there. Yeah. Okay. That's good enough.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. Let the record reflect that the applicant's representative approach to clarify where on the property line, on the front property line running along Henry Street, the fence, the 6-foot high PVC fence is located. It runs for 82 linear feet. All right.
Mr. Gray,
Yes.
did you mention, earlier, I believe you mentioned that your client wanted to speak?
It's up to him. Introduce yourself. You have any words to say?
2260 Henry Street, North Belmore.
Repeat
Yeah,
that, please.
speak louder.
Joseph Monica, 2260 Henry Street, North Belmore.
Do you have anything you'd like to add? Okay. That's succinct. Do I have any more questions from the board?
Yeah, Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Along Henry Street, so you're going to cut back on both sides, the fence?
Where it abuts Mr. LaMonica's
Right, but how many feet is it?
Normally, it's a 8-foot cut in an XY axis.
No, right, I understand that, I see that. But how many feet back from Henry Street is your fence?
Oh, currently?
Yes.
Oh, that is, this survey is a little odd. If you look at on Henry Street, on the western side of the property, there's 2.14 feet. It's a little more than 2 feet south of the property line.
Okay.
You've referred to the survey.
I'm looking at the neighborhood, and are there any other fences on the street in the neighborhood?
Mr. LaMonica could answer that.
Directly across the street from me, on the right-hand side, on the corner.
Directly across the street.
I believe they're looking at an aerial photo.
Yeah, maybe it's changed.
Fence right here. Yep, no, right there.
It's
You see that
slide.
pool right there, following. Okay.
This one has it.
I mean, there's definitely a few of them.
But your fence runs looks like about 82 feet?
But the difference is, no one has a side yard.
Okay,
Front of the house.
all right. Okay. Is there any way to, you said it's how many feet? About one, not even 2 feet back?
The fence that's parallel to Henry Street?
Yes.
That is 2.14 feet south of the property line. So he's got a strip, you have a strip of 2.14 feet.
South. And over here is another guy that has it.
This one's It's 2 point.
This is his.
Well, he didn't cite that. He didn't show us.
The curb is.
Walkator is saying set it back 10 feet. The fence.
The property line is typically a little bit onto your front lawn. So you might have maybe close to 4 feet of grass in front of the fence, you know?
I'm definitely in front of mine. I know that.
Oh, it's well within your property, yes.
From the board. If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Gray, you and your client will both receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you. Nice day.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we've case 10623 Levittown, Pt. Singh. Variances, lot area occupied, side yards aggregate, maintained additions, both attached to dwelling, also known as 37 Sandpiper Lane. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Take a seat and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Michael Rado, represent the homeowner from Captain Permit, 245 Route 109, Suite D, West Babylon. All right, so we're here we're proposing an addition off the back and the front. And we're also maintaining a current existing garage that was permitted in 1959. So the setbacks on this house were changed when that garage was permitted in 1959. So we're not going over any of the footprint, any additional footprint currently, so we're building on top of the current footprint. So none of the setbacks are going to be changing from how it currently sits right now. She purchased this home this way. She's currently pulling all the proper permits to do this work. None of the work has been done. We're proposing everything. The shed in the back of the yard is going to be removed. It's no longer going to be there. And like I stated before, there's going to be addition off the back and over the front. So if you see the proposed set of plans that we submitted to you guys, you'll be able to see where the additions will be. And again, the footprint of this house is not changing. So none of the setbacks how it currently sits right now will be changed.
That none of the work has been done, it's all proposed?
All proposed. There is an existing garage.
It says maintain additions both attached to dwelling.
There's an addition that's attached to the dwelling, which is a garage currently from 1959 that was never closed out, so we have to maintain that. And then we're also proposing additional work, which is not changing.
Wait a minute.
Again, this is the second time I'm here. I was here last month.
I remember.
Everything's before us as if it's already there. It's called a maintain.
No, even the plans say proposed on it that I submitted. And there's existing pictures of the house, so you can see how the house is sitting.
The plan,
I have the plans here.
the plot plan, site plan as it's called, it says maintain
Yes.
rear one-story addition, maintain rear dormer.
No, because there is existing work on this house that we are maintaining. There's work on this house that we're maintaining, but we're also proposing work.
All right, here's one.
So there's an existing garage, and then there's a bump out off the back that's existing, that was done prior to her purchasing this home. I can show you the existing layout and the proposed layout if you want. And I can show you the pictures so you know what I'm talking about with the additions. And, yes. Yep. No, there's an addition off the back, and there's a garage.
Okay, maintain rear one-story addition.
Yep.
Is that an actual thing you need to do?
We do.
Maintain rear dormer.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Are there any other maintains that you think about?
there's no other maintains.
Okay. And then you're saying
to propose. We're extending off the rear addition over the back. We're not going off the footprint. Second floor. Rear. It's just extending off of the current one. So the current one's here, we're just extending it over. Correct. Yep. Within the footprint. Same thing for the front. There's going to be an addition on the front, on this, over the same existing footprint.
So construct, you have a construct, two constructs, one front, one rear, both second story?
Yes.
Hold on. And you have two maintains, which are both rear one story and rear dome.
Correct.
People live in the house.
No one right now. She bought this house and she has not moved in. We did the plans. When we pulled the search sheet, we realized that there were items on this house that were never legalized. So now we're maintaining everything that's legal and proposing all the work that she wants to do. This house has been sitting for months.
Is it, hold on.
Is there an animal cage on the east side of the house?
I went over there to find out what that was. It's not a cage. What happened was the prior owner had some sort of like enclosure for her cats. I can show you the picture. So it's not technically a cage. That's coming down. It's part of like the fence.
That's going to be removed.
Oh yeah, but when you see it, can I come up there and show you?
Yes. Approach.
That, listen, I think, no, here's the thing. Look, wait,
So yeah, I went there.
show the chairman.
After you guys mentioned that in the letter. So this is this. It's like this cat pin. Yeah, and it's on the other page you can see it too. I circled it. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like fencing. And this is the addition, so you guys can understand.
Mr. Pellegrini.
Can I ask you? Yeah, I don't need to see it. Okay, so the maintains are the two rear items yeah, I don't need it. I have a question, I need to ask you. So the maintains before us are solely for side yard aggregate. Now, do you think that is in reference to the maintains? Forget the wording.
Yes.
That's what you needed for those maintains?
Yes, because the way it currently sits.
That's okay.
That's how it is.
So is it possible that your constructs are as of right, that you don't need relief for those?
Oh, we're not going to. I'm just letting you know that.
Okay, so now we. on the maintained, you need side yard aggregate. Did you give us the numbers?
1 second.
And lot area occupied?
So currently, it's 31.6 for lot coverage and 30s, what you guys allow. The average front yard setback's 24.4, 32.
Front yard setback is not.
Side yard aggregate.
Side yard aggregate's 12.9 currently, and it requires 15.
15.
Okay, and again, just for the
That's it.
record. Go ahead.
No.
For the record, the maintains that are before us are what they are as shown. And the other work is inside the footprint and as of right, so it's not before us.
Is that your case, sir?
That's my case.
Okay. Do I have any other questions from the board?
Go ahead, I was waiting. I move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I know.
Ms. Pangallo, would you like to tell us your tale of woe?
In addition to explaining about that, in particular, I hope you were able to also address egress windows, where they were, what was what. So give us the story.
Really, I'm sorry, just for the record, I just want to recall. So we're recalling case 18123, Franklin Square, Judy and Landry Sherifrent.
Sharon Fant.
Sherifrent. Variance side yard maintained cellar entrance attached to dwelling, also known as 829 Dowdy Avenue.
Okay, so I have a copy of the application, which only states replace egress window with full-size door and exterior concrete egress stairs to grade. So it was to replace an egress window for some reason. I don't know why. Right. And there is nothing in a title that says finished basement with bathroom. So I assumed, which I know I shouldn't have, based on the fact that it was on the plans and it said construct alteration, that it was part of this. So then I checked the 2005, thinking, well, maybe the finished basement with bath was on that second-story construction. It was not. So to me, it appears there's no permit file. It's not included.
Or it may be an as of right, because as we got with Mr. Gray, after a bit of. But it still needs a permit. Right, but after a bit of confusing discourse, if you will, with Mr. Gray, we got to the point, because he initially presented the same idea that we were addressing the appropriateness of what's actually inside. And then we came to the realization that, if the stairs weren't included, we wouldn't be passing on that, even though we'd like to know about it in our stair analysis.
Right.
So maybe I'm guessing that just is file for a permit, or one was issued, whatever it is, but it's not before us. The
Right.
stairs only.
Yeah, and I guess that was just another error of, aside from approving the cellar entrance too close, there was no permit for the basement as well.
So when your client originally applied to enlarge the stair door, change the egress to stairs, to doors, and add a staircase, which is basically turn it into exterior cellar entrance, right?
Right.
Was that permit issued?
That was issued and then revoked.
Oh, right.
The basement finish was apparently never a part of this and doesn't have a permit.
So they issued him a permit to change the egress windows to a door and put in stairs.
Correct.
Basically cellar entrance. And do we know why it was revoked?
Because it was too close to the property line. When the building inspector went there,
Okay.
because that was in his notes.
Okay. So now we know why it was revoked. And then, this is your client who's
Who sold the house?
in medical issues?
Correct.
17.5.
Right.
Okay. And we have new owners.
It's just tough because there's no permit for the finished basement with the bathroom.
That,
Oh, okay. Right. Right, right. Right. Because now we'll have to file actually a set of plans for finished basement with a bathroom. So whatever's down there that's existing now will be on our plans. So if they put up walls or whatever, you know, that's all going to have to be addressed now when we now file for a permit for finished basement and bathroom. They're really, I mean, I even have a letter. They're just, he's very sick. He's had surgery after surgery. I mean, it's the whole, it's the, it would financially hurt them to have to do that, but they're going to have to file for the basement finish as well. So that's going to, let me see if I have that letter here. No, I don't have a copy of the escrow agreement. Just want to see if I had a copy of there was a hardship letter that was submitted. I don't know if you, yeah, it should be in there. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, at least. Listen, I was happy to get Medicare and not have to pay for my insurance.
Do we have anything else that you'd like to add, Ms. Pangallo, instead of
No.
going on about
There is the
Medicare?
discount.
That is it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pangalli be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Did you want a copy of the application?
If you got an extra, we might as well put it in. Thank you, Ms. Pangalli.
Thank you.
Have a nice lunch and afternoon.
Did you make a motion?
I did.
Okay, second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That concludes the morning calendar. We'll take a short recess and come back and hopefully do some decisions. 5.
Hold on one second.
I made it one for
Joanne.
You believe it, at her age, she learned how to cook?
All right, all right. Now, right, decisions. Case 168 of 2023, Oceanside, Matthew Miller. Do I have any discussion on this application? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 168 of 23, Oceanside, Matthew Miller at 3380 Widener Avenue be approved as requested.
Same conditions?
Conditions, yep, 5 years.
5 years.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case, 169 of 23, Baldwin, Eva Orrego and Feliciana Hernandez. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that case 169 of 23 in Baldwin, Eva Orrego and Feliciana Hernandez, affecting the property at 2478 Loft Avenue, be approved as requested, 5 years, the usual two-family conditions in compliance with any previously imposed conditions.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case is 170 and 171 of 2023, Merrick Michael Hoy. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 170 of 2023, Michael Hall, a renewal of the two-family grant, be granted with the same previously imposed conditions for a term of 5 years, and that the fence on case 171 be also granted for a period of 5 years.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case, 172 of 2023, Seaford TR Home Development Corp. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 172 of 2023, located at 2584 Volcanic Avenue in Seaford, be granted as requested.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Case 173 of 2023, Point Lookout, Elizabeth and Robert McNulty. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I will move that case 123 of 2023, Point Lookout, Elizabeth and Robert McNulty, as you described it, affecting the property at 3 Beach Street in Point Lookout, be approved as requested.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next cases, 174, 175, 176, and 177 of 2023 in Baldwin, Marianne Goldman. Do I have any discussion?
Yeah, I just have one piece of, we need to amend the caption to include, as it relates to the fence, that it is in the traditional clear sight triangle, the clear sight triangle at the owner's driveway, which is in the materials, but in addition to that, in the clear sight triangle of the neighbor's driveway. And we need to make some, include conditions that it remain open, clear, no inserts, et cetera, and temporary for 5 years. But
Do I have a second on that motion
I didn't
as
make the
made?
motion yet.
Second.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. Would you like to make the motion?
Okay, as it relates, Mr. Chairman, to case 174 through 177 of 2023 in Baldwin, Mary Ann Goldman, affecting the property at 691 Lowell Place. I would move that we grant all but the fence as they were requested, that we amend the caption relating to the 4-foot-high fence to include the 4-foot-high fence that's in the clear sight triangle at the neighbor's driveway, and that we grant the fence with that amendment to the caption for a period of 5 years, and that grant be conditioned on requirements that the fence never be made any taller, that it remain at 4 feet, that it not be changed to a more solid type fence, and that it not be altered by way of slats or other obstructive material that makes it any less see-through, I guess, than it currently is. That's my motion.
Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? If you can recall that motion. Yeah. Okay. Next cases, 178, 179 of 2023, Elmont, Bertrand Batista. Do I have any discussion from them?
2 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that one is adjourned, 2 p.m. That'll be the first case on. Next case, 180 of 2023, East Atlantic Beach, Raymond G. and Stacey Ann O'Brien. Do I have any discussion amongst the board members?
I would just like to, for all of our consideration, it was notable that the entire community was in favor of that if she were to do this, add this story onto the house and come into FEMA compliance, she could, without height relief, build it approximately 8 feet taller than it is proposed, which is notable in terms of its impact on the surrounding community. And I think, consideration should be given to the unique circumstances in which she finds herself and the need for additional space, both for her mother to live in full-time to help care for her son with special needs, and looking forward, the issue she has with needing additional people living in-house to help care for her son with special needs, and his need for exterior space that is confined, which is almost entirely the significant increase in lot area occupied. It's decking that isn't going to be so obstructive in terms of sightlines, but will provide the necessary outdoor confined space.
Can I have a motion?
Son needs. That's my input.
Can I have a motion incorporating all of that?
Well, that wasn't any constraints. That's just rationale.
I put a whereas clause when it comes to, when we grant a third story or a height, I always put whereas clauses explaining why we're deviating.
That's why I put that on the record.
Yeah, there'll be something in there explaining why.
Can I have a motion?
I move that case 180 of 2023, Raymond and Stacey Ann O'Brien at 47 Trenton Avenue be granted as requested.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? You're opposed? Okay, duly noted. Next case, 182 of 2023, applicant is John Filagrossi. Do I have any discussion amongst the board members? If not, do I have a motion?
Wait, what happened?
182 of 23. Oh, I'm sorry, 181 of 23, Franklin Square, Judy and Landry Cherenfant.
That I think needs an inspection.
Okay, then we will hold that case.
I can inspect that.
Ms. Perry will inspect. Next case, 182 of 2023, Seaford, John Filagrossi. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
182 of 2023, located at 753 Pine Neck Road in Seaford, be granted as requested.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next cases, 183 to 187 of 2023, North Belmore, Joseph LaMonica. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Didn't she have
Other than to close any open permits?
If you want, I'll take a look at it. There was some confusion about.
Good. Okay. So Mr. Pellegrini will inspect. We'll hold that case. Yeah, that's a good idea. Last case on the 9:30 calendar, 9:30 adjournment, 106 in Levittown, Supreet Singh. Do I have any discussion?
No, there was a rear entrance in the back.
Would you like to inspect that as well?
Yeah, yes, I think I would do that.
We're going to hold that case.
And the building department, it's vacant right now. I don't know that the building department's going to have access to it. I'll take a look and peek in the windows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any such grant would be conditioned, no plumbing, no heating in the garage, none of that.
Yes.
Okay? That concludes the morning calendar. Let's go to the videotape. Reserve calendar. Do we have anything?
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, again, MCRT requesting at the consent of the applicant to hold that one. Pat, you want to talk about KTK or?
Okay. Elmont KTK. Did the building inspect that?
We spoke with the building department. They were having a hard time getting in touch with the property owner. So we were able to reach out to Mr. D'Agostino, who provided us with the landowner's contact information and phone number. We forwarded that to the building department, and we also know that they are meeting with the applicant this week to. They haven't been able.
Who's meeting with the landlord? Okay.
I thought it was the landlord, not the applicant. Is it the applicant? Sorry, Pat.
Okay.
We're going to hold that.
It's vague, but they have a inspection set up for this Thursday to go through the basements.
All the basement. All the basement?
I don't know if it's the owner or if it's the owner of the.
All right, we'll continue to hold it.
We're going to continue to hold.
All right. Next case, 95-22, Belmore, Sarah Agosto, anything on that?
Yeah, I provided a draft grant with the board a little while back. It was the Friday after our last hearing. Essentially, the conditions for this, it was pertaining to the pavilion not being enclosed. It was a large cabana kind of structure.
Right.
And all the conditions just say, shall not be enclosed, shall not be converted to living space, no heating, no bathroom, no second story, not increased in size without further approval from us.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt that draft grant?
I move case 95 of 2022, located at 2764 Nata Boulevard, that we grant or grant the draft grant, accept the draft grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. What else?
On the next one, this is the subdivision on Tulip Avenue in Franklin Square. I reached out to Bob O'Brien, who provided us with new plans. Those plans, I think they're at the bottom of the cart. Those plans indicate, right here, that they are willing to install a garage on the first floor, which previously wasn't there. It'd be subject to the first floor if you guys want to look at those plans.
That's the only guy.
That was the only, I believe that was the only concern. Yeah, yep. Parking. They had sufficient room to do that. Yeah. Okay. Can I have a motion?
I move case 164 of 23 in Franklin Square, located at 1045 Tulip Avenue, be approved as requested with regard to
164 and 65.
Oh, I'm sorry, 164.
Companion cases.
I'm sorry, I didn't turn the page.
Okay.
Be approved with the, accepting the new plans that were offered showing the garage on the first floor. Subdivision conditions, correct.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Case 166.
Also provided a draft grant on this matter. It was specific because we wanted to make sure that there was the temporary trail is only a 1-year grant. and that there would be renewable if they filed the, sorry. Okay, do we want to wait on this until?
Mrs. D'Amato is not, she,
Yeah.
disapproval.
Okay,
Suggest we skip.
we'll hold that. We'll hold that.
Okay, the next one is Smart ABC Oceanside LLC. I was told to reach out to Dominic Minerva to provide us with a draft, with a lease, with the lease of the property. The grant is temporary, about 10 years, a little less for the term of the lease. They cannot renew unless they provide a new lease agreement, and it can only be extended through the duration of that lease agreement. I received edits from Mr. Agano, which I have already applied to the draft.
With respect, excuse me, Chairman. Okay, I have a motion.
Go right ahead.
Okay. With respect to case 167 of 2023, location is 3427 Long Beach Road. I move that we accept the draft grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next case, case 135 of 23, Birkat Hashem. Has everybody had the opportunity to inspect?
Yes, I have.
And do we have any discussion, or would someone like to make a motion?
I've also, inspected it quite a few times, and I'm very much opposed to it. It's going to change the whole area down there. On Long Beach Road in Oceanside, there are no freestanding apartment buildings, and I don't want to see that happen because they'll jump up everywhere, and that's really not an area for those kind of, for apartment building. And like I said, I'm very much against it. The traffic down there is horrendous enough. So that's how I feel about it. I live in the area, and I know what happens down there.
Any other comments, Mr. Pellegrini?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, let's leave, it's 153. Last one. Yes. Mr. Chairman, pertaining to case 153, which concerns a parcel located at 3235 Long Beach Road in Oceanside. I reviewed the testimony in this matter and still believe that the applicant's case is insufficient, even with the agreement to reduce the number of units from 14 to 8. For use variance, the applicant is required to do dollars and cents analysis. While Mr. Nelson did provide some testimony to that effect, the potential income analysis, as he testified to, is not consistently applied. He discussed cost per square foot for the office space while using monthly rent per unit for the proposed rental property. More importantly, this case fails under the third prong of what we are required to consider when granting a use variance. Quote, that requested use variance will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. My personal inspection of the property agrees with what Mrs. Adams just said, and my experience with the board also indicates that this would, if it were granted, alter the essential character of the neighborhood. And by their own admission, the applicant could not find an apartment building along Long Beach Road and in all of Oceanside. We all know that traffic there is highly congested. There's no place to park. While I am sympathetic to the financial circumstances to the applicant, setting this precedent in an area as congested as this would greatly impact the character and the nature of the Oceanside community. Accordingly, I make a motion that this case be denied.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
First, can that be withdrawn? Are there any other comments that any member of the board has before a motion is made? No. All right. Can you please renew the motion?
I move that for the aforementioned.
Not in its entirety.
I renew my motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, let's go back to 135 of 2023 Oceanside, now that Mrs. D'Amato is here.
166.
One we just did.
Oh, I'm sorry, 166, Yeshiva Kol Torah.
Yeah, so there was a draft grant provided to the board limiting their the temporary trailer to 1-year renewal periods. There was a section that was removed about the in perpetuity part, which I removed. I don't know if there's any further discussion the board would like to have.
So we gave them a 1-year period within which to,
1-year period, and it's renewable every 1 year.
but they have to come back before the board every
They
year.
have to come back prior to, so a lot of times with renewals, they'll do it after it expires. They're required to file it before the renewal period expires, otherwise the entire decision is void. And they have to come back for new relief.
Good. Yep. Okay. Do I have a motion?
First, Mr. Chairman, this needs a sequel also. I assume that's contained in the grant. I recall having read it. It is.
There's also another, I sent in this in an email. This was recommended to be denied by the Nassau County Planning Commission, so it would require a supermajority.
Okay, one moment. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I would like to, as it relates to case 166 of 2023, first, as it relates to the CEQA determination, I would move based on the testimony at the hearing, the materials filed in advance in the file, those presented as exhibits at the hearing, and the testimony therein, that we adopt a negative declaration as to the CEQA determination, and that we adopt the draft grant in that regard prepared by counsel to the board.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
In addition, Mr. Chairman, as it relates to the same case, 166 of 2023, Yeshiva Kol Torah, I would move that we grant the application with the conditions contained in the draft grant prepared by counsel of the board, and that we adopt that draft grant as our decision.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Okay. What else?
I have no extensions of time, so I'll move on to my first piece of on the administrative calendar. The first thing I have is from Al D'Agostino. This is pertaining to the HUD that we just granted in Franklin Square. One condition was fairly ironclad. The only point of ingress and egress would be on Martha Place, and they fence off the other ones. That they do need emergency access on those other parcels. So he was requesting if we could put in a condition in which that it would be fenced and that it would only be permitted for emergency access of vehicles on those other ingresses and egresses on the side streets. It'd be a modification of the previous grant.
No, this is the HUD grant, the housing development.
So yeah, just to repeat, the case we just granted in Franklin Square, the housing development for the senior housing, one of the conditions was very specific in not permitting them to have any point of ingress and egress except Martha Place. Al D'Agostino brought to my attention that they would require at least one other point of ingress and egress for emergency vehicles, so it'd be a modification of a condition to allow them to have a fenced-in area that can be moved for the ingress and egress of emergency. Exactly.
Okay.
If that's something you go, yeah, that's case. Oh, sorry.
Right, so what do we need to do to?
So it would be a motion to amend or to modify case number 97 of 23 to permit the ingress and egress of emergency vehicles on one of the side streets, on the side streets.
On one of the side streets?
He's written it.
I don't have, it would be Stone Place, on Stone Place.
I'll move, Mr. Chairman, as it relates to case 97 of 2023, the application for the senior housing project in Franklin Square, that we amend our decision in accordance with what's been drafted by council to allow for an additional egress for emergency use only in the location described and in the manner described in the decision drafted by council to the board.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I believe you have something else? No, go right ahead. Come on, quite a bit. Okay.
The next one I have is a rehearing request. Once again, this is those situations in which there was a subdivision granted, case in 2019. The permits were never picked up. Time for an extension of time has since expired. They're requesting to rehear the matter. It was granted in February 9th, 2021. New purchasers.
21 or 19?
So the permit numbers are from 19. The case was in 20. It was granted in 21.
Where is it located?
The location of the place is 2560 Ocean Avenue in Seaford under case numbers 295 of 20 and 296 of 20.
Two-lot subdivision?
Two-lot subdivision. New purchasers, they never got the extension of time. They want to proceed with the subdivision of lot. Previously granted, not too long ago, about 2 years.
All right, so what do they want, a rehearing?
Yeah, they need a rehearing.
What's the case number?
Case numbers 295 and 296 of 20.
As it relates to 295 and 296 of 2020, I move that we allow the applicant a rehearing in which to represent the case previously granted.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Next.
Okay, I have a modification request. This concerns a case that was heard July 2019. Under case number 679 of 19, it considered the installation of a wireless telecommunications node in a church steeple. Telecommunication node in a church steeple, back when we still had jurisdiction on these. In the condition, it was granted pursuant to the plans where there were only 6 antennas. They now need 8 antennas. So the modification of the decision would be to add 2 antennas to the previous grant.
Where and why?
Okay, why is based on capacity. So there's a higher demand for capacity in that area. Where it is located is 1375 Grand Avenue, Baldwin. I'm trying to see if it has.
No 6 antennas, don't do what 8 do when they came before the board?
Facility design, but not limited to increase the number of antennas. Oh, actually, no, sorry. They told me 8. It's from 6 to 9. They need 9 antennas. I think they told me there was 8, but they need 9 antennas. The decision approved 6 antennas.
Well, the whole gap analysis is messed up then.
Federally, your hands are kind of tied.
Of course. Is it going to look any different?
No. It was going to have more antennas on it.
Interior?
It's on the interior of the church steeple. Yeah.
I remember that.
Do we need additional testimony as far as emissions, or
The
that's not
microwatts
our-
per centimeter squared, I don't think so.
Is that not in our purview anymore?
Yeah, federal law.
And believe me, those 6 were probably 1% of the microwatts per centimeter squared allowable. So now it'll be 1.5.
Yeah, I remember you.
And we still need to do the notice requirements because we're still tied to that. So we have 1 week to get the notices out. They did submit plans here as to the change in the antennas if you guys want to look at it, but I will strongly recommend. Our hands are very much tied.
Okay.
And if
Okay.
we drag our feet, we work the shock.
We're not going to.
We could be on the
But
financial.
aesthetically, we should make sure that it's going to be.
It looks the same.
It'll be rehearing.
No, it'd be modification to change from 6 to 9.
Without any.
Chairman?